Look at me. We're going to get it done.
When Uncle Joe Biden is busy supporting Israel in order for them to massacre people of Palestine, South Africa have done something that the world have not done so far. South Africa have manifested the courage and the willing to support people of Palestine. The government of South Africa, under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa, decided to go to the International Criminal Court, the ICC, which you all know, and bring these accusations against the Israel government, saying that what they are doing in Palestine, it is a pure genocide. Without delay, I'm inviting you first to have watched this video, then I'll be back with more analysis.
Free, free Palestine!
Passionate protests on the streets outside of court.
Free, free Palestine!
As inside, South Africa laid out the details of their case.
Even an attack involving atrocity crimes can provide any justification for or defense to breaches to the convention.
Israel has denied all accusations, calling the case a, quote, blood libel. South Africa is accusing Israel of breaching the 1948 Genocide Convention through its military response to the Hamas attack, which it says has killed more than 23,000 people.
At least 200 times it has deployed 2,000-pound bombs in southern areas of Palestine designated as safe.
Israeli soldiers
But South Africa is also accusing Israeli leaders of making no distinction between Hamas and the civilians of Gaza.
The genocidal intent behind these statements is not ambiguous to the Israeli soldiers on the ground. Indeed, it is directing their actions and objectives. These are the soldiers repeating the inciting words of their Prime Minister.
The moment welcomed by international groups in support of the Palestinian people, with many noting the importance of Israel's presence too, there to defend its response to the Hamas attacks on October 7th that killed at least 1,200 people.
The fact that they're here, that they're represented, and that they're presenting their formal response to South Africa's case is significant and suggests that they attach legitimacy to the court.
An effective realization.
But South Africa's goal, a call for the World Court to order Israel to stop the war.
The consequences of not indicating clear and particularized specific provisional measures would, we fear, be very grave indeed for the Palestinians in Gaza, who remain at real risk of further genocidal acts.
That was the delegate of South Africa government, which was composed by the Minister of Justice, Ronald Lamola, following by the different lawyers. I'm talking about the irate lawyers in South Africa who have to handle this matter in the International Criminal Court. Very interesting, as you said, we just watch it in this report. But before we get to develop more, I'm also inviting you to have listened first to what was the agreement or the defense of the Israel, who have also to come and give their defense to this criminal court. Because South Africa, they have put everything on the table. They have tried to explain the reasons why they have to take this genocide that the Israel they are committing in Palestine undercover, and giving the reasons that they are attacking the Hamas terrorist groups. They have say everything in front of the this ICC, the International Criminal Court. Now it was about time for the Israel government to send also their delegates who have to come and give their defense. In other words, they have to agree, to give their agreement to what South Africa have said. So they will have to agree or disagree to whatsoever is being said or whatsoever could be the accusation against them. Without delay, let us first have listened to this report, then I'll be back with more analysis so that we can talk more in details.
First, the core of genocide is intent. Without intent, there can be no genocide in law.
Israel defending itself on the second and final day of hearings at the International Court of Justice. refuting claims by South Africa that its response to the attacks on October 7th violates the 1948 Genocide Convention.
The sitting is open.
It is respectfully submitted that the application and request should be dismissed for what they are: a libel designed to deny Israel the right to defend itself according to the law from the unprecedented terrorist onslaught it continues to face, and to free the 136 hostages Hamas still holds.
This after South Africa's lawyers argued on Thursday that Israel's leaders were intent on destroying the Palestinians as a group in Gaza.
Following 7 October, Israel deployed 6,000 bombs per week. At least 200 times it has deployed 2,000-pound bombs in southern areas of Palestine designated as safe.
On Friday, Israel pushed back.
The Genocide Convention was not designed to address the brutal impact of intensive hostilities on the civilian population. The Convention was set apart to address a malevolent crime of the most exceptional severity.
Israel's lawyers also arguing that genocidal acts were committed by Hamas on October 7th, when more than 1,200 Israelis were killed.
That if there have been acts that may be characterized as genocidal, then they have been perpetrated against Israel.
Outside the court, the public's divisions and frustrations on clear display.
I'm waiting to see evidence of things they said, because I think there's a lot of things that, a lot of information that is misleading and that is not really accurate. And so I'm waiting to see the evidence that they're about to bring forth.
Nearby, pro-Israel supporters had laid a table for Shabbat with places set for hostages still inside Gaza.
On October 7th, Israel was under attack. People were killed, murdered, butchered, raped, burned alive. And today, we are the ones who are supposed to give explanations? It's unbelievable.
The question of whether Gazans are the victims of a genocide could take years for the court to rule on. Far more pressing, the question of if and how it will ask Israel to stop its war.
Now that you managed to watch both two reports, the one that which was represented by the South Africa government and the other one which was also represented by the Israel government, Hamas, or should I say Palestine government, they did not send any delegates so far because they are the victims. Instead, they can only send some witness if this matter have to go even far. But for now, the International Criminal Court, the ICC, they had only one obligation: to listen to the complainer and the defender. So, and they have received both two cases, and now we'll be waiting to hear what will be the, what will be their answer in the near future to come. But guys, I want us now to try to analyze for you, according to this accusations which the government of South Africa, under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa, have bring to this International Criminal Court. I want us first to understand, how did we get here? How possible is it that South Africa, leaving the Africa continent to go and defend Palestine, which is not even an Africa continent? What kind of relationship does South Africa have with Palestine people in order for them to go and defend them? What is it that South Africa is holding against the Israel government in order for them to go ahead and attack the Israel government inside the court? Well, guys, I'll also try to think with you together why South Africa have to go only to the International Criminal Court, the ICC, in order for them to put these matters. First of all, we all know that South Africa, it is a country which lived under the apartheid regime for many years. South Africa, they've been through a lot. Yes, it is something that everyone knows. Even our children at school, until today, they're still learning about what really happened in South Africa. They're still learning about Nelson Mandela. They're still learning about how people of South Africa were treated by the apartheid regime. And during that time, South Africa, they did everything. I'm referring to the ANC. They did everything they could have done in order for them to take what belongs to them. Because the problem here was about the land which a foreigner have to come and take it. The land that was repossessed by the foreigners. And South Africa government, the ANC, did all that, did everything they could do in their power in order for them to liberate themselves from the apartheid regime. And during that time, they had support of different countries around the world. And this time I'm talking about Cuba, I'm talking about Venezuela, I'm talking about a couple of countries, especially in Africa continent, who were together with South Africa. Yes, for an example, if you look like in Africa, we have countries like Tanzania, Angola. There are so many of them. Nigeria, DR Congo, who had even financed South Africa with money so that they can go and fight this apartheid regime. Of course, they always say that it is in time of needs, that's when you see your true friends. And these fellow African brothers, they really show their solidarity with people of South Africa, which we really do appreciate. Now that South Africa managed to liberate themselves, they end up starting realizing that no, we were not only the only one who had lost their land in the hands of the oppressors. Looking around, they end up finding that no, Palestine, they have also the same problem. Palestine, it is a story, maybe in case if you are not aware about it, but let us try to make it short. Palestine with Israel, they are having the same problem, whereby Israel leaving their lands to go and try to take Palestine lands. So Palestine people, they've been trying to resist all this time. But Israel keep on chowing their lands every time, replacing their military over there, putting their flags, and this is a ongoing conflict which had already took some couple of times now. Now, when this all things started, they not started today. Many people spoke about it in behalf of Palestinian people, calling the international criminal court to act about this, calling the UN, the United Nations Assembly, so that they will do something about this. No one was not even be able to raise up their hands in order for them to defend people of Palestine. Instead, everyone, they seem to be scared because Israel is one of the American allies over there in the Middle East. So since America is the one supporting the Israelis, the land of Palestine, everyone, they were just quiet about it. So there are many people who spoke about it. I remember even the late Robert Mugabe, even Muammar Gaddafi, they had to say, to give their point of view about this. Robert Mugabe, for an example, when he said this about Palestine.
I take the floor after the representative of Palestine has made a speech, wailing speech, crying speech. A repeat of what has happened before. It happened last year, it happened the year before, it happened in 1963. The voice of Palestinians being expressed here, the cry of the Palestinians reaching our ears here. For how long are we going to listen to the leader of the PLO? When shall we ever listen to the president of the state of Palestine? When shall that ever come, Mr. Ban Ki-moon? You are leaving us before the settlement of the people of Palestine. They are not settled yet. They are in a state which belongs, I don't know to whom, not free. Some other people building homes in what is supposed to be their state. Almost every day, someone is killed or disturbed or arrested. When shall this ever cease? All of us here are born out of the struggle for our elders. We were all, once upon a time, in colonies. All of us. I was just trying to turn over in my mind who of you, of us, came straight from an independent state to Addis Ababa. None. We were once, if not slaves, but servants of colonialists, servants of imperialists, colonized people, disadvantaged people. Today, yes, we may say, we are free. But
besides Robert Mugabe, there were many people, African leaders, even around the world, who were compatrioting and giving their support to Palestinian people, calling for Israel to at least liberate Palestine from this oppressor system that they had implanted over there in Palestine. But no one could not listen to them. Now, we also what happened last year, October, when the Hamas have to go and take some land of, try to enter Israel and try to do whatsoever they did over there, which we all did condemn, by the way. Whether it is the South Africa that is supporting Palestine today or not, but on what did happen that day, I remember the government of Cyril Ramaphosa did also condemn it, because that is not a way of dealing with matters. The problem here, the life of each and individual, whether you are Israelite, whether you are Palestinist, all of you, your life does matter. So there's no any way that there will be a government or any individuals in their clear sense who will have to go and support this kind of behaviors. Now, what happened did happen. We were expecting maybe the international UN General Assembly to come with some sanctions against this Hamas group. No, instead, all we saw this time, it was different to the one happened in Ukraine, when Vladimir Putin was put under sanctions with Russia by the United Nations and America. But this time we saw the US President Joe Biden jumping on the first line to go and start supporting already whatsoever supposed to be the plan of Israel to go ahead and take revenge. And that was something which opened my eyes personally. That was something that made me realize that what about if this so-called Hamas group, which they are saying that had attacked Israel, it is not something that, it is not the real Hamas that we know. Because what if this was something maybe the Palestine Hamas group they were planning to do, but Israel find it out and they take advantage to do it on their own and organize the whole thing so that they'll have a good and a proper reason for them to go and wipe off the people and civilians and women over there in Palestine. That was the questions which make us really doubt if this Hamas group attacks on Israel was the real one or it was the fake one. But let us just put aside about that. Let us continue to this point whereby we saw America jumping on the first line with the President Joe Biden to come in and give all the support, give even the foundings to the Israeli government in order for them to go ahead and attack Palestine. Well, they did all that. It makes sense for them. They believe that they were on the on the right side, because if you even listen to President Joe Biden, was like, no, Israel is a sovereign country, they should not blah 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 blah. He give the reasons. Now listen to all these people. They are talking about sovereignty of their countries. Why they never do the same when it comes to the Palestine people? Because we all know it is Israel who jumped over in Palestine for many years. That is not violating another sovereign country. Well, that's just a question. We're leaving for that. Now, when they went through, they did crazy things. Yes, they did crazy things, and I believe all of you saw it on the news, you saw it on your screens, how the Israel military, they went in not only to try to find out where there is this really Hamas terrorist groups, but they went in to involve to include everyone in their business, and they end up killing innocent children and women. They did the worst compared to what they were accusing Hamas terrorist group did in Israel. Well, all that is happening under the watch of the US. They are not saying anything. Then God never sleep. The same US alliance we're talking now this time in the West, all of them, they end up realizing that no, this is too much. I mean, with our own conscience, yes, we are with America, yes, we are with Israel, but this is too much. Until when? Because even if it is a punishment, until when this will have to take place? So they start distancing themselves. And here I'm talking about France, Belgium, go on, Italy, all of them, they start distancing themselves. What they did first, they were no longer commenting about these matters. They start keeping quiet about it. They were no longer saying anything that will encourage Israel and the United States of America to go ahead and continue doing whatsoever they are doing. They start keeping quiet. Whenever they are being asked this question through the media or any places, they will just prefer to keep quiet. As the Israel government continue again bombarding all these places, churches, refugee camps, stadiums, hospitals, then the West countries, which is allies to America, they start coming out and start condemning now what is happening over there. So they start having now two different point of view with the America. Now, until then, no one, I'm referring to the Western leaders, no one had the courage to do what is right, because we all know that there is what they call International Criminal Court, the ICC. This is the same ICC that these people, they've been using to eliminate African leaders, to eliminate African politicians. This is the same thing, the same criminal court that these people, they have put in place in order for them to scare African leaders who don't want to obey them, or who don't want to do anything, who don't want to have anything to do with them. We've been saying about this, that this ICC thing is not something that Africans can rely on, because proof for that is that this Israeli government of this Prime Minister, they're committing serious crime against humanity, but yet no one is calling them to this ICC. No France, no British, no one. So it takes one of the African countries to have that courage to go there. And this time we're talking about South Africa. South Africa, they had to realize that what Palestine are going through is what we've been through as well. And we need to support them as much other nations out there did support us during the time of apartheid regime. And then they decided first by start closing the Israel embassy, cutting all the ties with Israel. And this time, we are talking about the president of EFF, Julius Malema, who had that courage to go first, prostrate in front of the Israel embassy, and then went in the parliament to place this motion to ask the parliament that they should vote for the removal of the Israel embassy, which he managed to succeed to do so. And the Israel embassy was out of South Africa. Now, that was not all, because they could not just limit themselves over there. Now that they don't have good relationship with Israel, they need to take this matter far. And they take this matter to the ICC. Now, this is where things getting now more interesting for me. Guys, listen to this very careful. I asked earlier on the question to know why South Africa had to have that courage to go only to the ICC to go and place this arrest of, these accusations against the Israeli government. Well, it's for the simple reasons. This ICC, this same ICC, you also last year how it was asking the government of South Africa, the government of Cyril Ramaphosa, to arrest Vladimir Putin, who's the right-hand partner to the South Africa government. Not only in BRICS, but Russia have a good relationship with South Africa. And since Vladimir Putin is supposed to be attending the BRICS summit in South Africa, they then oblige South Africa to arrest their partner, Vladimir Putin, knowing very well that this is a very big decision. But since they were so confident, since they believe in themselves that, no, look, if there is a right place, we can arrest Vladimir Putin for all the accusations that they have placed against him, that will be in South Africa, because we don't see Vladimir Putin being arrested in Brasilia, because Brazil is not part of this ICC. Vladimir Putin can't be arrested in India, because India is not also part of this. Vladimir Putin can't also either be arrested in China. So they knew very well that the right place where Vladimir Putin was going to be arrested was going to be in South Africa, because South Africa, they did sign for this ICC charter thing. So they were so confident. And they put a lot of pressure on South Africa. You guys still remember how America shows up, giving up excuses, saying that South Africa, they're supplying guns to Russia, blah, blah, blah. Their embassy in South Africa try to disrespect the South African government and do all those things. They did all this pressure because they wanted South Africa to arrest Vladimir Putin. But that did not happen, because South Africa was not willing to arrest their own partner. And then later on, obviously, we saw Vladimir Putin announcing, saying that he won't be attending this BRICS summit in South Africa, which, through our analysis, we had told you that no, it's not Vladimir Putin who did not want to come to South Africa, but it is an agreement between South Africa and Vladimir Putin. In order for them to keep their friendship or their relationship, they had just to sacrifice the absence of Vladimir Putin. And later on, we saw how he sent his foreign minister, who had to come and attend this BRICS summit. So now, when these things happens, South Africa, during that time already, they were so pissed off, because this is not the first time that this so-called ICC had to call South Africa to arrest one of the leaders. Do you guys still remember what happened with Omar Bashir, if I'm not mistaken, the former president of South Sudan? Of course, the man was visiting also South Africa, but they had to call for South Africa to arrest him. And South Africa, before they had to verify with their courts, with their law, to see whether this man can be arrested in South Africa or not. Well, South Africa, by then, they managed to make him flee the country. By the time when the decision of the court arrived on the table, it was too late. They could not be able to arrest Omar Bashir. So now, this has happened. The one of Vladimir Putin, it was the second time for these things to take place. South Africa government, they feel like, okay, it looked like these people now, they are playing with us. Because if there are people who have committed serious crime in this world, we know them. We know where they are living. We are talking about former president of America, George Bush, of what he have done in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in many places around the world. We are talking about the former prime minister of the UK, who had also did serious massacre out there. But yet these people, they are free. These are the same people who even acknowledge their mistake, their implement in everything that they have done as a crime around the world, but they are not arrested. And yet they are busy putting pressure on South Africa to arrest some of the people who seem to be more dear to them. So, South Africa, they were already out, on their way out of this ICC, because they believe that this ICC is not there to do things in the right way. Instead, it is a weapon or a tools which is being used by the West. We are talking about the United States of America, who's not even a signer. They are not part of this, the countries that had signed this charter. But yet, they still have the influence on the ICC, telling the ICC what to do and what not to do. So South Africa will not tolerate it. South Africa, they feel like, no, this is not just too much. Does not make sense for us. And they were already planning to leave. But now, when they were about to leave these things, it happened that there are some problems already over in the Middle East, where the Israel is busy killing women and children innocently without them committing any crime. Then South Africa is like, okay, I think this is about time we expose this ICC to the eyes of the world. This is about time we show the world what this ICC is all about. Because these people, they ask us to arrest Vladimir Putin because of whatsoever is happening in Ukraine. But when we look what has been happening in Ukraine during these past 2 years, because it's been already over 2 years now that Russia and Ukraine, they have been in their conflict. What has happened over there? And what happened from October to this January between Israel and Palestinians? It is way too much that they have committed too much crime by this Israel Prime Minister, Netanyahu. He had committed more crime, more than the one they're accusing Vladimir Putin of. So that is when the many feel like, no, I think it's about time now we put this criminal court at the test. Because they're supposed to be having courage in the early hours to send already an arrest warrant against the Israel Prime Minister, Netanyahu. But unfortunately, they have not done this because they are afraid of the United States of America, whose partner number one, who's in the front line defending what Israel is doing in Palestine people. Because according to the USA, the life of Palestine, it means nothing to them. Instead, the one of the Israelis is what means something for them. So, therefore, South Africa is like, no, we're going out to expose these people with their mafias. We are going to the International Criminal Court, the ICC, to place a genocide case against Israel. And once it is there, let us see now how this so-called International Criminal Court, what they will do with this case. That is how we managed to be where we are today. Now, since South Africa launched this case, these accusations against Israel, which country are supporting South Africa so far? Well, yesterday I was reading this news article. We are talking about 98% of the worldwide countries. They are all behind. They are lined behind South Africa. I wish I had all the time to call their names out. But so far, there is only 2 countries that come in my attention, according to that report, which disapprove these accusations of South Africa. For them, they believe that Israel, they are within their right and they are doing the right thing. And those countries, they are number 1, United States of America, of Joe Biden, and then followed by the United Kingdom, the UK. They still believe that Israel, they are within their right, and what they are doing over there to attack the Palestine places, they are doing the right things. Now, we shall wait and see what will happen very soon inside this court, whether the court will approve the accusations of South Africa, saying that the government of Netanyahu, they have committed a genocide against the people of Palestine or not? And if they don't do so, obviously we all know what will be the next move of South Africa. South Africa is going to quit this international criminal court, and once they do that, not only them, many countries will leave it, because we all seeing what is happening in Palestine. Everyone that's seeing it. You can say whatever you want to say, that no, how to call this, Hamas terrorist group, they have done 1, 2, 3, 4 to Israelis. Yes, we condemn that. But what Israel they have managed to do so far, it is way too much compared to the one that the Palestine they have did on the Israelites. So we shall wait and see what will happen. Guys, that will be all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't leave without you giving us your thumbs up. We really do appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get more from our site, because this is what we do here. We try to educate the nation. We try to make the Africa to be arise in order for us to defeat the Western power. So therefore, we are encouraging you to subscribe to the channel through this subscribe button. Give us your thumbs up. We really do appreciate for that. For now, continue to be yourself. Be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for it to be respected. May God bless you all.